The intervention was scheduled for 2 o'clock. My mother sent the calendar invite like it was a corporate board meeting. Family discussion, Sunday 2 p.m. Parents' house. Attendance mandatory. She'd even included an agenda in the notes section. Item 1. Olivia's living situation. Item 2. Olivia's career path. Item 3. Financial independence timeline. 31 years old and my mother was still making agendas about my life. I showed up at 1:55 p.m. in jeans and a sweater, carrying my laptop bag. My car, a 7-year-old sedan, was parked at the curb, carefully positioned where everyone could see it. Not too nice. Not too new. Just the kind of car a struggling 30-something would drive. My brother's BMW was already in the driveway. My sister's Range Rover blocked half the street. There she is, Mom announced when I walked in, her voice that particular blend of love and disappointment she'd perfected over 3 decades. Olivia, honey, we're in the living room. The living room had been arranged like a tribunal. Mom and Dad on the sofa, positions of authority. My brother Derek on the armchair, already looking smug. My sister Amanda perched on the ottoman, sympathy oozing from every pore. The only seat left was the chair directly across from all of them, positioned so the afternoon sun would be in my eyes. Settle. Happy anniversary, I said, settling into my assigned seat. 35 years. That's really something. Thank you, sweetie. Mom folded her hands in her lap. We thought this was an appropriate day to discuss family matters. Taking stock of where we all are. Your mother and I have been talking, Dad said, using his principal's voice, the one that had terrified generations of high school students. And we're concerned. About me, I supplied. About your trajectory, he corrected. You're 31, Olivia. When your sister was 31, she was married with a career in pharmaceutical sales. When Derek was your age, he'd already made junior partner. Derek shifted in his seat, unable to hide his satisfaction. We're just worried, Liv. You've been drifting. Drifting, I repeated. You're still renting, Amanda added gently. That studio apartment downtown. So small, Liv. And at your age. At my age, I should own property, I finished. Like you both do. Exactly. Mom leaned forward. And your job? Olivia, administrative work is fine, but it's not a career. There's no growth there, no retirement plan. I smiled. You're right. Administrative work doesn't typically come with substantial retirement benefits. Which is why we've made some decisions, Dad announced. Tough love decisions, but necessary ones. Here it came. We're cutting off your allowance, Mom said. The $500 a month we've been giving you since college. It's time you stood on your own 2 feet completely. $500. They'd been sending me $500 a month for almost a decade, and I'd been depositing every check into an account I never touched. The balance was currently sitting at around $62,000, earning minimal interest. I'd been making my own money since I was 23. We're also, Dad continued, encouraging you to consider going back to school. Get your MBA. We've researched programs. We'll pay for it, Mom interrupted. But you have to commit, Olivia. No more of this floating around from job to job. I've had the same position for 4 years, I pointed out. As an administrative assistant, Derek said. Liv, that's entry-level work. I could probably get you an interview at my firm. Nothing fancy, maybe paralegal assistant, but it's a foot in the door. I appreciate that. And I've talked to my husband, Amanda said. His company is looking for event coordinators. It's part-time, but it pays better than what you're probably making now. How much do you think I make? I asked curiously. They exchanged glances. 35,000? Mom guessed. Maybe 40? I nodded slowly. Interesting. The point is, Dad said firmly, change needs to happen. Today. We want you to commit to a plan. Either business school or one of the job opportunities your siblings are offering or, he paused. We need to see forward momentum, Olivia. We can't keep watching you struggle. I'm not struggling. Sweetheart, you're 31 and renting a studio apartment, Mom said. You drive a car from 2018. You shop at Target. Last Christmas you gave us homemade gifts. Because I thought you'd appreciate them. We did. They were lovely. But Olivia, they were homemade because you couldn't afford anything else. Mom's eyes were actually tearing up. We're not trying to be cruel. We're trying to help you before it's too late. Too late for what? For success, Derek said. For building something. For having the kind of life the rest of us have worked for. I looked at him, his designer suit, his Rolex, his carefully maintained appearance of success. Derek was good at his job. Junior partner at 33 was impressive. His income was probably around $250,000 a year. I'd made that much in capital gains last month. I want to show you all something, I said, opening my laptop. Since we're talking about finances and success and forward momentum. Olivia, we're not here to look at your resume, Dad started. Not my resume. Your portfolio. The room went quiet. I pulled up the first document, Dad's retirement account statement from Pinnacle Investment Group. Dad, you've been with Pinnacle for what, 15 years? 17, he said slowly. How do you have access to my... Look at the fund manager name. He leaned forward, squinting at the screen. His face went pale. That says Olivia Turner. It does. There must be another Olivia Turner. There isn't. I pulled up another document. Mom's 403B from the hospital. Also managed by Olivia Turner. Would you like to see the signature? I zoomed in on the authorization forms from 3 years ago. My signature clear as day. Mom's hand went to her mouth. Derek. I turned the laptop toward my brother. Pull up your investment portfolio. The one Amanda's husband set up for you. Go ahead, check the fund manager. He fumbled with his phone, his fingers shaking slightly. The color drained from his face. This doesn't make sense. Amanda, yours too. The college funds for the kids. Also me. My sister looked like she might faint. I don't understand, Dad said. How are you managing our investments? You work as an administrative assistant. I work as a senior portfolio manager at Pinnacle Investment Group, I said calmly. I have for 4 years. Before that, I spent 3 years as a junior analyst at Sterling Financial. I got my Series 7 and Series 63 licenses when I was 24. My MBA? Finished it at night school 5 years ago. Graduated top of my class. Silence. The administrative work, you keep dismissing? I continued. That's how I described my job when you never asked for details. You assumed assistant. I never corrected you. Easier that way. But, your apartment, Mom whispered. Your car. My studio apartment is a 1-bedroom in the Pearl District that I bought outright 3 years ago for $370,000. I call it a studio when you ask because you never visit, so you never see that it's actually 1,200 square feet with a balcony and downtown views. The car is paid off. I could drive something flashier, but I don't see the point. Derek had gone from pale to red. You're lying. Am I? Check your statements, Derek. Every single one. Look at the returns over the past 3 years. I smiled. You're up 42%. Beating the S&P 500 by 18 points. That's my work. Those are my investment strategies. He scrolled frantically through his phone. Oh my God. Mom, Dad, your retirement funds have grown from $4.1 million to $8.3 million in 3 years. That's not market luck. That's careful portfolio management, strategic rebalancing, and some very smart plays in emerging tech and sustainable energy. 8.3 million, Dad repeated faintly. Amanda, your kids' college funds? Fully funded. Even if tuition inflation continues at current rates, both kids can go to any school they want, fully paid with money left over. You're welcome. My sister started crying. I don't understand why you wouldn't tell us, Mom said. Why hide this? Because of this. I gestured at the room, at the intervention setup, at the agenda still sitting on the coffee table. Because every family dinner for the past 8 years, you've all treated me like the family charity case. The one who couldn't figure it out. The one who needed help. We were trying to support you. You were trying to fix me, I corrected. There's a difference. Support would have been asking what I actually did for work. Support would have been showing interest in my life instead of assuming I was failing. That's not fair, Derek protested. Isn't it? Derek, when was the last time you asked about my job? Actually asked, not just made assumptions. He opened his mouth. Closed it. Amanda? When was the last time you invited me to something that wasn't you trying to set me up with some nice stable man, because you assumed I needed rescuing? She looked at her hands. I've been managing your money for 3 years, I said. 3 years of quarterly statements with my name on them. Not one of you noticed. Not one of you asked questions. We thought Olivia Turner was a common name. Dad tried. In the financial sector? With Pinnacle specifically? Dad, you've been with them for 17 years. You never once wondered if your fund manager might be related to your daughter. The silence was answer enough. Here's what's going to happen, I said, closing my laptop. I'm going to continue managing your portfolios because I'm very good at my job and I've built strategies specifically tailored to each of your goals. Dad, you want to retire at 62? On track. Mom, you want that lake house. Affordable within 18 months. Derek, you're saving for private school for the kids you don't have yet? Fully funded in advance. Amanda, you wanted to start that nonprofit? You have the capital. They all stared at me. But, I continued, the family meetings about my life are over. The interventions stop. The job offers from people making less than I do stop. The assumption that I need fixing stops. Olivia, Mom started. I'm not angry, I said, and I meant it. I'm really not. I understand why you made assumptions. I dressed down at family events. I never talked about work in detail. I let you think what you wanted to think because it was easier than dealing with expectations. But why? Amanda asked. Why hide being successful? Because success in this family comes with strings. Derek, you made junior partner and Dad immediately started planning your trajectory to senior partner, didn't he? Amanda, you got your pharmaceutical job and Mom started introducing you as my daughter, the sales director, even though you were just a rep for the first 3 years. They both nodded slowly. I wanted to build something without the family commentary. Without Dad's advice that I didn't ask for or Mom's networking events or Derek's competition. I wanted to know that I earned what I built. And you did, Dad said quietly. You really did. 8.3 million, Mom repeated like she couldn't quite believe it. In 3 years. You had a solid foundation. I just optimized it. Moved you out of some underperforming mutual funds, diversified the tech holdings, invested in some companies before they went public. Standard stuff. Standard, Derek muttered. She says it's standard. For a senior portfolio manager? It is. I stood up, slinging my laptop bag over my shoulder. I need to go. I have a client call at 4. A company CEO who's restructuring his retirement plan. After that, I'm reviewing some prospectuses for potential IPO investments. On a Sunday? Mom asked. Markets don't care what day it is. I headed for the door, then paused. Oh, and about cutting off my allowance? Keep it. I set up a direct deposit to an animal shelter 3 years ago. They get $500 a month in your names. You're sponsoring a dog kennel. The shelter sends very nice thank you cards. I made it to the foyer before Dad's voice stopped me. Olivia. Wait. I turned. He was standing, his principal posture gone, just a man who looked suddenly old and very confused. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything. We pushed you. We've been pushing for years, thinking we were helping. You were doing what parents do, I said. You saw what looked like struggle and tried to fix it. You weren't wrong to care. You were just wrong about the facts. You should have told us, Mom said, coming up beside Dad. You should have let us be proud of you. You can be proud now. I smiled. I'll email you all the detailed portfolio breakdowns tomorrow. You should actually read them this time. You might learn something about your own finances. Will you? Amanda's voice cracked. Will you still come to family dinners? Of course. I like family dinners. I just don't like being the family project. I checked my watch. Speaking of which, there's a new restaurant opening next month downtown. Japanese fusion, very exclusive. The owner is a friend of mine. I advised him on his business loan. I can get us a reservation for your actual anniversary dinner. All 5 of us. My treat. You don't have to, Dad started. I want to. I never get to pick up the check. You always do. Let me have this one. Mom was crying again but smiling through it. Hey. Yes. That would be lovely. Good. I pulled out my phone. I'll text you when I confirm the reservation. Fair warning, it's not cheap. But I can afford it. Derek let out a sound that might have been a laugh or a sob. I can't believe we've been having family meetings about your finances when you've been managing ours. The irony wasn't lost on me, I admitted. For what it's worth, he said quietly, your returns are better than my own portfolio managers. I checked. I know. I've seen your statements. Your guy is coasting. You should move your accounts to Pinnacle. Would you manage them? I pretended to consider it. I suppose I could take on one more client. Family discount even. He smiled. A real smile, not the smug one from earlier. I'm sorry, Liv. For assuming. For not asking. I'm sorry too, Amanda added. For all the setup attempts and the pity. Apology accepted. I looked at all four of them, these people who'd known me my whole life but somehow managed to not see me at all. We're good. We'll figure it out. You'll really come to dinner next week? Mom asked. Regular dinner, no agenda? No agenda, I confirmed. Just family. I left them standing in the foyer, still processing. As I walked to my very ordinary car, I could see Derek through the window, still scrolling through his investment statements. Amanda was hugging Mom. Dad was sitting down heavily on the stairs. My phone buzzed with a message from my boss at Pinnacle. Johnson family meeting tomorrow. They want you specifically for their portfolio. Your reputation is spreading. I smiled and started the car. 31 years old. Senior portfolio manager. 8.3 million in managed family assets alone, with a total client portfolio worth over 200 million. Not bad for someone who supposedly needed an intervention. I drove away from my parents' house, past Derek's BMW and Amanda's Range Rover, in my paid-off 2018 sedan. Sometimes the best success is the kind nobody sees coming. Especially when you've been signing their statements the whole time.